Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dylan, and welcome to Dylan the Truth podcast. If you guys are new to this channel, I'd like for you guys to subscribe to it and also hit that like button. Deeply appreciate it. Now, this segment is about the tension between Stephen A. Smith and Terrell Owens. For those who's new to that story, this was something that happened a couple years ago when Terrell Owens was on ESPN First Take alongside with Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman. All three of them were on the panel, and the topic was about Colin Kaepernick agreeing to do a workout or a tryout for one of the teams. But with that tryout, there was like a string attached to it. So it's not just him just doing that. They're gonna force him to do other things, or maybe keep his mouth shut on political issues. Now, if you guys are not aware of what Colin Kaepernick was talking about, he was talking about the injustice that's been going on in America, and he made it crystal clear what he was talking about. But a lot of people wanted to make it about the flag, and that's just another way of them to deflect from the real issue that Colin Kaepernick was actually addressing. So that plays a part in what happened a couple years ago because Terrell Owens and Max Kellerman are basically looking at it like, why would he have to do a workout if they're gonna try to tell him to keep his mouth shut on certain things? So he's not gonna sign a contract because he already knows what that contract is about. Remember, he took a knee during the national anthem. Obviously, most of America wasn't happy about it, especially the owners in NFL. So that's what Terrell Owens and Max Kellerman was talking about. Now, as far as with Stephen A. Smith is basically saying that he should just go and work out and see what it is, blah, blah, blah. But again, what is in that contract? Stephen A. does not know. He's just one of these guys that will just jump on anything. That means like you won't stand for nothing but fall for anything. That's basically the energy that he was given. So there was a soundbite, and I'm sure everyone knows this one. When Terrell Owens said that Max Kellerman is actually blacker than Stephen A. And that really got Stephen A. upset because he's questioning his black card. But I mean, Terrell's not wrong in that sense because it seems like a lot of the time when it comes to the black community, Stephen A. doesn't really stick up for like the black community, and it's usually Max Kellerman. By the way, he's Jewish, and he's always the one that's always sticking up for the black community as opposed to Stephen A. Smith. He always has to find some kind of way to defend the opposition, and I don't know why. I don't get it. It's just strange to me. I never understood why he always does that. So that's how that whole issue started. And what ended up happening was Stephen A. Um, basically was tweeting, talking about, he's got dirt on Terrell Owens and he's threatening him, like, don't push your luck, I'll put it out in public and this and that. Terrell Owens basically came back and said, you don't have anything on me. You're just making things up. But if you want to go out and, put out fake news, go right ahead. I mean, this is really embarrassing on Stephen A. Smith's part because it's like, this was something that happened a couple years ago, and it seems like he's still holding on to that. You could tell that really cut him deep when, Terrell Owens was basically questioning his black card. And, Stephen A. was irate that day. And I remember I was watching that. I was like, damn, I've never seen Stephen A. like that, like ever. Like he is really loud and everything and very animated, but I never seen him that upset like that. You could tell that really hit home for him, and it's just silly that they're going back and forth like this. honest. I think Terrell Owens is more looking at it like, I don't have time to go back and forth with you. Like, this was something that happened like a couple years ago. Just leave it there. Like, why are you bringing this up? Doesn't make sense. But yeah, Stephen A. I guess he'll do whatever it takes for the ratings. Clearly, he's been doing this his entire career, so he would, create like a controversial headline, and everybody would tune in. It's genius part on his part, because he knows how to draw viewers to his segments, and he's a master of that. Like, he could say the most outrageous things, and people will still be tuned into it. He Stephen A. is definitely a polarizing figure as far as in media. It's kind of a love and hate type of thing with him. Like, 1 minute you're with him because he makes valid points, and then the next is like he would say certain things, and you're just like, what? I mean, we were with you, and then you lost us on some of the points you were trying to make. Stephen A. I mean, he needs to get over it. I mean, right now, Max Kellerman, is no longer with ESPN, and I think that was the part I missed. Forgive me for that. Max Kellerman, I think Terrell Owens was basically saying that Stephen A. was the reason why Max Kellerman got fired, because we remember that Stephen A. went on ESPN First Take Live, and he basically explained the reason why, or I don't know if it was on ESPN First Take. I think he went on Breakfast Club or some other podcast, and he was basically explaining why he felt that Max Kellerman needed to go, because they felt like the chemistry wasn't there. He needed something new. Just, I guess, to, take First Take to another level. He felt like Max Kellerman was kind of holding him back, so he felt like, okay, you know what? We got to cut ties with him and find somebody else. And I think that's what Terrell always pointed out. And, it's the truth. Obviously, Stephen A. has a lot of pull on ESPN. He is the face of ESPN. So if Stephen A. goes up to the boss and tells him, I don't want him here anymore, of course he's going to agree with that. But with Max Kellerman would be fine. He's a great analyst. He knows his sports, especially in particular boxing. That is his forte, and baseball. He's pretty good with basketball and football, but boxing is his number one sport. He loves it. I love listening to him when he talks about boxing, because he knows the ins and outs of it. He can break down fights like no other analyst. He's amazing when it comes to boxing and breaking down how the matchups and the nuance in boxing. I mean, he's like second to none. But yeah, I think that's where it all happened. Hopefully, these guys could, put their differences aside, make peace. There's no need for all that. All that negative energy is unnecessary. Hopefully, they could call each other and, talk about it and be like, you know what, they apologize to each other and just move on. Hopefully, but it's up to them. We'll see how that goes. But I will leave it there. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. Till next time, peace.